Hello, everyone. Good evening. It's great to have everyone here today in this edition of my design journey. In particular, this is episode 8 of my design journey. And today we have a very interesting guest, a good friend of mine, an architect by training, who is an innovative constructor today. His name is Jide Osho Ademola. Jide is the CEO of Sapphire Project. I'm sure shortly we'll see his bio, and he can be able to share from his wealth of experience for us this evening. Essentially, Just Design is the platform hosting my design journey, and my design journey is essentially uh, a platform for designers, design professionals to share their design journey, and with the hope that other designers can benefit from their insight, from their experience over the years, and are able to perfect their craft. And so it's a sharing platform. It's a sharing environment where designers are able to come together, share their knowledge, both for younger designers who could be students, aspiring designers, young professionals, even established designers. And essentially, that's why this platform is on. And so shortly, we'll bring it up architect Jide Ademola Osho on the platform. So architect Jide, so quickly, let's have the profile of architect Jide before we have him on the floor. Thank you very much.
Olajide Ademola, the founder of Sapphire Projects Limited, is a beacon of efficiency and excellence in architecture and construction. With an MSc and BSc from Covenant University School of Architecture, and as an associate member of the Nigerian Institute of Architects, Olajide's professional journey began as a resident architect for a low-cost housing project in Makurdi, Benue State. His subsequent role as project architect for Sapphire Gardens Awoya has showcased his talent, leading to his tenure at Globacom, where he oversaw numerous successful projects. Recognizing industry gaps, he founded Sapphire Projects Limited in 2015 to address project turnaround time for middle-income earners. Under Olajide's leadership, Sapphire Projects Limited offers world-class solutions in architecture, construction, and interior design. The company has partnered with reputable firms like KPMG and Lafarge Holcim Africa plc. Olajide's passion lies in creating a thriving work environment and contributing to job creation. Noteworthy achievements include reducing project turnaround time by 20% through agile project management and promoting sustainable construction practices to reduce carbon emissions.
All right, thank you very much, architect Jide. You are welcome. Uh, and I think you have a very interesting topic. You have captioned your journey in a very interesting topic. Speed is an asset. I'm sure our audience will be glad to hear from you. You know, glean from the insights you have garnered over the years, and I'm sure at the Q&A session, it's a very, very interesting time. So, Akinejide, you have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. So just to test the mic, I want to be sure I can be heard clearly. So if you can just drop a comment in the chat box, so I'm sure you can hear me. Thank you very much for this opportunity to be part of this conversation. This type of conversations are required to stimulate efficiency in the industry. Thank you very much, Joyce. This kind of conversations are needed to stimulate efficiency in the industry and also help the growth of the sector. And these are the kind of conversations that are required over time, from time to time, so that we can continually spot the gaps and make sure that we get better in the industry. And especially for those of us who are coming into the industry, who like the new generation of practitioners in the industry. This kind of conversations also help us to know where we are failing and what we need to do, what the people that have gone ahead of us have done wrong, and how we can become better. Thank you very much again for the opportunity, and also wanted to appreciate the audience for taking their time to be part of it. I will go ahead and share my presentation. I've tried as much as possible not to make it very academic. So, um, aside from, okay, I think it's already there. Okay, it's already on the screen. I think we can all see the screen. Um, apart from what you're seeing on the screens, I'll also be sharing life experiences. So I'll make it um, very interactive instead of another academic session, uh, which we are not here for. So my presentation is simply how we can make projects um more successful. It's not saying that projects have not been successful, it's how we can make it more successful. There are three key factors in every project um, in order to consider it a success. And a lot of times, most project managers are most project managers are evaluated on these three key factors. And the three key factors are quality, budget, and time. Quality, budget, and time. And it's not only about project managers. In any sector, in any project you decide to embark on, these three key factors are key. And in Sapia projects, what we've done over the years is to, like, if you're coming in for, if you're joining us, joining our team, one of the things that we keep saying virtually in every meeting we have is to re-emphasize these three key factors. Our clients we must deliver a quality job for our clients on time and within budget. We must deliver a quality job for our clients on time and within budget. Whether that delivery is service or product, whatever we do, it has to be a quality delivery. It has to be delivered on time, and it has to be delivered within budget. So so this conversation essentially tonight is to pick the aspect of the business or the aspect of our offerings that we've emphasized and we've used as a strategy to make a name and to also grow the business. And it's called speed, and it has to do with time. How can we reduce the turnaround time that projects are delivered? Um, so we take decisive action to prioritize speed as a critical asset for us, ensuring that we deliver projects swiftly so that people can be happy. Um, because especially the clients we work with, time is of great value because the every day that is missed in the project delivery timeline, there is a cost attached to it. So when you have a vendor and a contractor who can help you achieve your project on time, it's a great asset to our clients, and that has really helped us. So I'll just go straight into the presentation. Thank you very much for helping me out with that. So what is the impact of speed on project outcomes? So I'll be citing examples, and I hope those examples that's real life situations, and I hope they can also um, help me to do justice to this topic. What is the impact of speed on project outcomes? Um, this impact is enormous when you consider that you live in a high speed society, and the society is such a way, especially the Nigerian sector, is such a way that people want to do things and get things done now. Like you've got clients who will come to you and say, "Oh, I want to do this project, but I want it. Can we make sure we deliver it before the end of the month or before the end of the year?" Or a project that is meant to span 5 years in a typical environment. clients are telling you they want to get it delivered in 2 years. So we get a lot of those comments, those briefs, and oftentimes the the mindset is no. Of the first reaction contractors and architects give to clients is, oh, it's not possible. So we try not to use that word. It's not possible. The first thing we do is to go back to the drawing board and see how we can, bridge the gap and reduce and make sure we achieve that timeline for the client. The impact of speed on projects is very key. There was a bank we were working with. It's one of the first generation banks. And one of the head of procurement told us plainly that she lost her promotion last year because they failed to deliver a project on time. Because most organizations do what they call performance evaluation at a certain time. For example, they put performance evaluation to September, and a project is meant to be completed in July. At most, maybe by August, the project should have been completed. And that project is part of the metrics they use for this individual who is the head of procurement. Unfortunately, this project spanned beyond September when evaluation is meant to be done. The project was delivered with some level of quality, though it was beyond budget. But the time factor was missed. And because organizations do these evaluations at a certain time, they won't say, because this project is not delivered after that time, they are going to come back and do an evaluation just for you. No, it has passed the timeline given. So the promotion that she was meant to get, for example, in September, she couldn't get it because the project was delivered beyond September. And you can imagine the kind of dissatisfaction or disappointment she experienced in missing out that just because the time factor of that project was missed. So that's the impact projects can have. It's not only about the organization itself, it's also about the individuals managing, these projects. The organizational challenges really, as I just talked about a few of them. Um, One of the things we did when, as we were growing our business, is to realize that we need to tweak the product we sell. A lot of times, like if you are in the construction industry or the built environment industry, if I may ask, what do you sell to people? Somebody will come and say, oh, we do fantastic designs. Oh, our designs, we do only story buildings and all of that. And if I may ask any contractor, what they tell you is that we do jobs very well. Like we do jobs very well. But there is something that we began to do in our own organization, and we began to tell ourselves that everybody is selling a fantastic design. Everybody is claiming to be an architect. Everybody is claiming to be a good contractor. So we decided that our primary product or service we sell to people is speed, and we do this consciously. So when others are selling designs, others are selling construction work, we are selling time, we are selling speed. And I will tell you why we decided that as part of our strategic um, um, goals is to be selling speed, to be selling, quick turnaround. Because we realize that in most organizations, these challenges are the challenges we identified. Number one, we identified that decision making in most organizations are delayed. A lot of capital projects that organizations want to do are delayed because the board needs to sit on them. Approvals are required for those projects, and for whatever reason, the bureaucracy of that organization slows down decision making. So we identified that there are delayed decision making. There are also inefficiencies in processes. in some of these organizations. A lot of times they are trying to rejig their processes to make sure that things are done faster. However, they are still delayed timelines. And so we identified that as well. Thirdly, we also identified that these challenges impact on the cost of the project. Um, so that's also there's also the risk of missed opportunities, and lastly, okay, that's so those are the four. So we identified several of them. So I'll just talk about these four items. So these are the things we identified, and we said that okay, how do we sell a service that can, in as much as these challenges are existing in these organizations, how can we come in such a way that these challenges don't impact on these capital projects? Sorry, 1 minute. I just want to set- And so oftentimes, and I will cite this example, we're working for an organization, it's a global brand, and they wanted to do a project that uh, they wanted to do a project that has been replicated in about five of their offices globally. So it's not like, and this project I think is meant to be financed by the head office somewhere, I think in Switzerland. I can't remember exactly the location. So before they got approval, the timeline and all of that was already impacted. And oftentimes, when boards make their decisions, they transfer the next line of action is to face procurement, is to start saying procurement needs to deliver the job on time. And a number of times, board members or management people do not understand that when there's a delay from their end, it impacts directly on the timeline of the project. They don't consider that. And on the part of the procurement guys, the people to execute the project, because they understand that this project may has an impact on whether they are promoted that year, or because their promotion is coming up maybe December or September or whenever part of the year. They also want to try as much as possible to make sure they still deliver that project to meet the their evaluation. So if the burden now falls on the procurement team, who are meant to execute the project. So they have issues of increased workload. There's a lot of pressure and stress. There's a strain on their resources because what should have been done in 2 years, they now want to do it in 18 months. Um, and these things also impact on how they are measured, how their performance is measured. So there is this burden on procurement team. And so there was this project, like I was saying, which they needed to do. They called us in, and we went to the drawing board. And the advantage of that is that when organizations or these procurement guys get to this point, they try to see how they do not do all what they call competitive bidding. In most organizations, they try to be fair to contractors. They do what they call competitive bidding. They do tender opening and all of that. They go through all that process. But going through all that process oftentimes requires that everybody is on board. But when the timeline has been shortened because of management decision make delays from the decision making from the management, they often don't do competitive bidding in that regard. What they go straight to is what they call selective. So they look for vendors and contractors who are ready to deliver and deliver the project within the timeline. And at this time, the project itself is not what is setting the completion time. It's these guys that now sit down and say, what what is the earliest time this project can be completed? And we sat with them. They went into bidding and they asked, probably they asked other people, and eventually they settled with us. And after we completed the project, one of the key things that they said to us is that our bid was the highest. Why did they go with us? Primarily God's favor, but also the fact that they understand that these people have delivered, they can really pull their socks and make sure works are completed. And the second example is another organization, it's a cement manufacturing organization. Um, the decision making was delayed again, and they went to the procurement team. And I don't know where they got the. So they went to the procurement team. So the head of procurement, who is in charge, told us that we know that Sapia will deliver, even though when we were having that meeting, we were saying that this thing cannot be delivered within this period. And the head of procurement, said this project now is more of renovation, so it's not like a full construction building, just more like renovation. And the head of procurement said that the director specifically requested for contractors who can deliver project on time and the same time. And there was they because of that they said that they were going to use us, and we started the job. We moved the job with a lot of speed, and at the end of the day, even though we missed the timeline by maybe a few weeks or about a month, at the end of the day we're still able to meet these three key factors we spoke about: time, quality, and budget. So you know, okay. So like I've said in the presentation, there are consequences of delayed approval, so I'm not going to dwell on that, um, on those consequences. I'm just going to go straight to the next slide. So, so we often get this kind of conversations around, we need work done, and this became a recurring factor, especially when we are talking to people. I was talking to somebody yesterday, one of the project managers of one of the organizations who are doing a project for president. And what they said is that, oh, they didn't even bother to be coming to our site to check our project because they know that Sapir is going to deliver. I was talking to their manager this morning on the progress of the project, and I was saying that, oh, the project is moving so fast, we're going to deliver and all of that. And one thing the procurement guy said is that we know that we are so at rest because we know Sapir is going to deliver as promised. So I will now go to the factors that enable us to get this kind of feedback. So we get this kind of feedback a lot of times on the aspect of speed. It was based on this feedback, like I said earlier, that speed is a key part of what we now start delivering to people because of these issues we've identified. So, what are the key factors, or what are the key factors that enable us to deliver jobs with speed and the advantage it gives to every aspiring entrepreneur who is coming into the construction industry? And also, it's also a reputational issue because no matter how good the job is, if you delay completion of project for whatever reason, it's going to impact on how people view what you do. You might be doing a fantastic job, but if that is not taken care of, it can impact on how your business is viewed or how people view your services. So I will just go straight to I will cite an example now. There was this project we did last year. The project was for an organization. So the MD and one of the directors went to South Africa. I was in midweek service that day, and I saw a call on my phone, and I saw a call on my phone, and Truecaller just brought out the name, and I saw the particular name, and I was wondering that how did this person get my number? It's about the person, the second in command of the organization. So after the service, I went and I called him back. I pretended as if Truecaller hasn't given me a hint on who I was talking to. I said, "By you, blah blah blah," and introduced himself and he said, "Jide, can we have a meeting with the CEO tomorrow morning? We have a project that needs to be delivered quickly. Let's have a meeting." And I said, "Okay." And we went for the meeting. We had a very good meeting. And this project was meant to be subject to competitive bidding as is standard for an organization of that size and also for the project of that size. However, like I was saying, decisions are delayed. These delayed decisions often makes executors to not follow the laid down processes in awarding projects. This project was awarded to us without an award letter. Eventually, they gave us the award letter, but it was given to us without. We were mobilized 80%. I'm not talking about 20 naira, 30 naira, a lot of money. Without a lot of documentation, we mobilized 80%. One, why? Because previously we've done projects for this same company and we've delivered without issues on time. So when we were having that conversation with the CEO and the next in command, right there and there, the project was awarded to us. Right there and there, by God's grace, I think the following week they made payment, even when the award letter was yet to be out. Everything was done in such a way that I was wondering that why would they give us that kind of money without even blinking? It's because of the record we've set with them. It's because of so we now again realize that speed is an asset in achieving, you know, in achieving this project. So what are the strategies we've engaged internally to make sure these things are crucial? Um, I was having so sorry for 16 stories because I just want to talk about stories of how we got to the point where these things are crucial. There is a project management. There's a project management. I don't know what I call it strategy, but I was having a conversation with somebody I met somewhere one day, and I was telling. So this guy went to a business school, and we're just having a conversation, and I was saying that we want to employ these, we want to employ these because a lot of burden is being placed on me as a person, as the lead. That was at the beginning of our business, and the guy gave us an insight to say why if so he gave us a business nugget that we still hold dear to today. And secondly, I was also having a conversation with another person that I met. He works with a big organization. I was saying that we're having this challenge. I think it's a project manager in that organization. And he said something. He said, what you need to employ is what they call agile way of management. And what is that agile way of management? Is the fact that, and which we do every time. So this is the strategy we employ in meeting timelines and making sure projects are delivered. So what do we do? How have we improvised this? What gave us to what we do presently? In achieving speed in construction, it's important that bureaucracy is reduced to the minimum. Secondly, in addition to the things you are seeing on the screen, yes, in addition to the things you are seeing on the screen, it's also important that decision makers are also um, are also are not just office workers. What do I mean? Uh, the project I was talking about, where we awarded a project and we mobilized a lot of money to start right away. The project was meant to span over for some time. It's not a short project. Because I knew the importance of this project, I stopped wearing the hat of a CEO. I got, I became personally involved on site when we began the project. So that when decisions are meant to be made, nobody is sending an email that um, there's a change to the design. Maybe the floor space needs to be readjusted to accommodate based on what the client requires. When those issues happen, because I was present on site as the CEO of the business, as the team lead of the business, and also a lot of the key members of the team, the senior guys that work with us, are also very physical on site. Decision making was shortened. The issue of management taking decisions, delaying decision making, we tried not to also repeat it of the project. Oftentimes, contractors that are in this business, when they are executing the project, the gaps that we've identified with companies we work with are again repeated on the project. So what we try to do is to make sure that these gaps we've identified as management taking decision lately, processes, bureaucracy within the company, getting things done in executing the project. These gaps are not repeated. We make sure we block those gaps. And by the grace of God, we were able to deliver this project on time. And it became a key factor in how the everybody everybody involved in that project was eventually evaluated. So we don't repeat those issues we identified in my first or second slide again on the project. Speed is very crucial and it plays a critical role in the success of every project. And also because of the nature of our society and because of the way our economy is. If you delay too much on the project, you are likely going to be faced with the fluctuating nature of the cost of materials and the cost of labor. So speed is crucial. Secondly, when things are done efficiently, it impacts on the outcome of the project. It even impacts on the quality of the project. When um, a project needs to be, for example, you want to start a foundation, you want to are doing a project and the foundation needs to be started. If you delay too much on starting that foundation, then it may actually impact on the completion of that project. So we often focus on efficiency, we focus on timely execution of our works. Like I said, which I stated in the story or the scenario I gave, agility is key. And so these are the few things we do, and I just want to quickly go over them again. The speed is critical. However, for speed to be critical, those gaps we identified earlier, delayed decision making, not having proper planning for every project, those things, those gaps cannot be repeated or project. Those gaps that are in most organizations, like when you want to do anything with the state government, you hear people say civil service, they are very slow. They do this, they don't do that. A number of people need to minute on the document before it can be passed. Yes, those things are key to for a robust organization. But for projects, we try to limit and reduce these steps so that we don't repeat the same issues that organizations face on our project. I will just speed up now because of time. I've said this that our product is speed. I think I've mentioned this. The strategies for reducing turnaround time. We do lean construct. We engage lean construction principles. We streamline our processes. We reduce waste, and we optimize project timeline. And also, decision making is not vested only in. It's not vested only at the top. So the graph, if I should draw a table of how we take decisions on projects, is not a rectangle where all decisions are taken at the top. Decisions are taken at each level. Like if you're on a project, you are meant to take decisions uh, to you are meant to take you can take critical decisions. You don't have to wait for you don't have to get instruction from the office to take critical decisions. Secondly, we integrate technology in completing our project. So we invest a lot in technology. Um, um, we do for every project we do meetings every morning. And in doing our meetings, we don't have to be physical on site. We do meetings every morning. So and in for like I said, I get involved in a number of projects. For me to supervise a project, I always don't have to be physical on site. There's a camera on site that enables me to make sure that people know that the supervisor or the project manager on site knows that there is a superior watching over what he's doing. So things are not left undone. Like from my desktop, I can spot an error or a delayed or an infraction on site. So we integrate technology. We invest a lot in technology. We also do a lot of we do prefabrication. So everything does not have to be done in situ. Prefabricated materials are also essential in mitigating delays, mitigating the delay in project completion. We also do a lot of collaborating work. It's not everything a contractor can do. So there are vendors that we've worked with over the years that understand how we work with speed. In fact, one of them was telling us that, Sapir has come again. I know that you want this project to be completed tomorrow. And that's the mindset we have without compromising quality. So we do a lot of collaborative work with people. Supply chain. So this part is very key. So we have established vendors, registered vendors with us, who, without dropping a cover for them, without a single payment, they deliver our materials to site. You just need to place a call, and when a project manager places a call to or a procurement, our own procurement person on site, or the QS, whoever the person who is making the order, makes a call for certain materials to be used on the project, the call goes straight to the supplier. What the supplier just needs to do is to call the office to confirm if this requisition is actually from the business. And the moment we confirm that yes, it's from us, there is no conversation around, give us 2 naira, give us 30%, give us 100%. No, these products are delivered to site. And because over the years, we've also maintained integrity in such a way that payments are not delayed from our end when after delivery of this product. So these are the six key factors. Sorry, these are the six key factors we've used to make sure we reduce turnaround time on our projects. Sorry, I think I went too fast. Can you take me back to where I was? So, okay, so next slide, please. Okay, so because of time, I will just mention this. Um, the advantages our business or our products, like I said, has given us is that okay, so these are the advantages, some of the things we've acquired through competitive through so the so because of this service we deliver, the advantage it has given us over the years, as let me just break them down. Like I said, when project owners want to award projects, because of the way we are positioned strategically, these projects are not subject to competitive bidding. Just go selective. And we've had that experience. I'm not saying this purely on the basis of what we do. I consider it as God's favor, but we've also not been careless in grabbing that. Strategic projects. So people strategically reach out to us because they know that they need to deliver projects on time, and so we don't often go to selective competitive bidding. A number of times we don't go to competitive bidding. Even when they go to competitive bidding, at the back of their mind, they know they want to award the project to because they don't want to run the risk of not meeting the timeline. We did a project. There was a project that a number of contractors were invited to. It was meant to be done by a bank. It's a five-story building somewhere in okay, so it's a renovation of is it five-story, six-story, two blocks. I'm talking. So it's a massive project. There is, I won't mention it. There is an established firm in Nigeria at the moment, one of the biggest in the industry. Uh, the bank used them for a project before, and like I was saying, the project was done well. The quality was good. The quality was fair, but they didn't meet budget and time. So when they now needed to do this other project, um, they told that firm or that company that they were not going to use them. In fact, the procurement person said, oh, but I don't want to go through this while again because the procurement person missed her promotion because of them in their previous project they did together. And she said that, oh, we're not going to use the people. I don't want this while again, even though they like the project. So they called us in, and because they've seen where we did the project before, quickly turnaround time was short and moved on. And they called us in for this project. And this project again was not based on competition. It was purely selective. Purely selective. The CEO was involved. The CFO was involved. Head of procurement. So it was purely selective. And we began the project. So that's the advantage it has given us. Secondly, enhanced resource utilization. So timely project delivery. So now when we are doing that project, there are people that are on that project that understand that time factor is key, and decision making is that like they can take key decisions themselves. The project managers put on that. Timely project delivery, improved profit margin. So the advantage it does for us, I'm not supposed to say this here, is that we it has helped us to now determine the profit we make on projects because they want us to deliver time and we also need their money. So it's not like we are struggling on projects. We give sufficiently. And because if time is a factor, money cannot be a problem. So we try to convey this message that because of the timeline, we need this. So they don't even have time again to start negotiating. So we often determine how much we earn on a lot. So these are the advantages it has given. The next slide. I promise I want to round up. Okay, yes. So these are. So let me just speak generally now. How much? So I have. I think I have 5 more minutes before we go to questions and answers. So no, we just go back to questions and answers. So I just want to speak generally now. So this is very key, and this issue is an issue that we've seen that is a big deal in the industry. When you drive around Lagos, you see a lot of projects that are have been abandoned. A lot of projects that um, you just realize that they've been doing this project for 3 years, 4 years. What is the problem? So it's a big deal in the industry where projects are delayed, bureaucracy is delaying projects, clients are delaying projects, contractors are also delaying projects. So these are major issues. And until we start realizing that projects cannot be run the same way a business is structured, like a business is structured where um, decision making is multi-layered. Like you cannot wake up tomorrow and say you want to spend 100 million naira, even as a CEO. It needs to go through an approval. It needs to go through the board approval. It depends on the okay. So we try not to repeat some of these things, and this is an advantage we've gotten. And like some people will call and say, Jide, we want Sapia to do this because we know that you can do it, and we don't say no. I'm not saying that there are instances where you can't say no. So you need to evaluate the risk, do an analysis of the project to see if you can shorten the the delivery of the project. So this has helped us, and it's a product, it's a service we sell to people. So I'll just go to questions and question time. If you have a question, okay. So there's a question from Muamola Kuye, Mr. Kuye. So the question is, how much of value engineering do you deploy towards your project to reduce construction time versus cost overruns? So it's key. And like I said, when projects need to be delivered in a very short time, um, value engineering is key, is a factor, even though we didn't emphasize that in our conversation. However, because the clients are already under pressure to get this, and it happens a lot with corporate clients. So please don't get me wrong, it happens a lot. Most of the examples I cited are with corporate clients. They are not private projects. Private projects, oftentimes, they may not be, they are not usually under pressure. They may not even be under pressure. The examples were primarily private with corporate clients. So because they're already under pressure when it comes to time. So when you propose that this project, we need to change the design in such a way that it can help us meet the timeline, they do not have sufficient time to question your proposal to them. And as long as there is no technical risk, like you are not doing something unsafe, and whatever you are proposing is not going to impact um, on the structural viability of whatever project you are of the building if it's a new construction. So it's welcome. And when you now say that because of the value engineering, a there is a variation order, they have little reason to say no, don't proceed because they are already under pressure to make sure progress is delivered. So both ways it works to your advantage. So when there is so in some instances we do the value engineering. If the value engineering does not require, it does not bring cost overrun, we don't even bother. We just get approval, just a soft approval to say let's proceed with this other option. If they have consultants, we reach out to the consultant and they allow us. However, if whatever we're going to do is going to help them reduce timeline, but it's going to require more money, they often agree with with our consultants to say, okay, let's proceed. Because time at that point is of more importance than the money. I hope I answered your question. Okay, so the second question is that do you think procurement officers need retraining in preparing the RFPs and internal stakeholders education on construction timeline? Most of these organizations, especially their procurement guys, they do a lot of training. They go through training and training and training and training. And also, in fact, they also have a technology like their uh, procurement system is not the is it's less manual. It is digitized in such a way that when they have when they need an RFP, you because you are registered on their platforms, you get a notification that there is this request. So what they do, secondly, is to also call you that oh there is a something on our platform. We need you to respond immediately, and we do all of that. So they have all that in place, but because of the nature, like I mentioned earlier, decision making has been delayed. Projects need to be delivered within that year. And some of these organizations, let me give another context to it. We were meant to do a project in Oregon for this organization. It's a construction. We are still on the construction now. The project was meant to be done last year. The budget was approved in last year's budget. For whatever reason, the project owners refused to initiate that conversation, this RFP. Not even the procurement people now, the project owners. Because some of these systems, they are project users, they are the owners of those projects. They initiate this conversation. It's at the point of execution that the the procurement people now step in to manage the process. They failed to initiate some of these things. It was going towards the end of the year. Maybe somebody just asked, and they realized that this project has been approved. Why the money is there? Why have we not done it? And this conversation started around December. What should they do? Because the moment it crosses December 31st, that money that was budgeted for it will be taken out and be used for something else. So they were running that dilemma and they reached out to us that what we need to do is that we should, that if we can start the project last year, that it will also help them to still have access to that money even after December 31st. Or get some other superior approval, at least it will be it will be enough justification for them to say that oh they've started. So we jumped in into the project. They called us. They were corporately begging us to start. So we jumped into the project. They didn't have to mobilize us, but we were able to decide on what we we're going to get on that project. And we went in with our money and we started. Towards the end of the year, along the line, money came in from them. So there are those issues. So it's not about whether the procurement guys are trained. It's also about that for whatever reason, you just get this kind of delays from the orgas at the top for whatever reasons. I just hope I answered your question. So if there's no other question, I'll just go straight to the key takeaways. If you have a question, you can drop it in the chat. Like I think I've said this. What are the key takeaways from this? Competitive. We have competitive. It gives contractors competitive advantage, project efficiency, and customers are satisfied. Yeah, I agree with you when you said that you feel the pains of project manager and procurement officers. I don't know how to even because we the our system is a bit it's a bit not perfect yet. A lot of organizations, the big names just hear that, but there are still issues when it comes to decision making. A lot of issues. And decisions are so multi-layered that, and these people don't because they are not. They think that decision making. So they think that that project can be done tomorrow. Like they just wake up. Oh, they've say, well, we gave approval. They will tell you we gave approval yesterday, and they forget that this is not like going to buy something and bringing it. This is a project. Um, like the project I was talking about that was meant to be completed last year. We are still on that project now. They sent a mail that, oh, we want this project completed in so time. Immediately, we started the project. The project was meant to be done last year. They didn't quickly talk, so they said we should start. So we started. So at the beginning of this year, after we started, they now sent a mail. Oh, Sapphire project, please, do you understand that this project now needs to be completed within this time? And we sent a mail back to them. In as much as we are trying to reduce the completion time, it can't realistically it can't be done within the time you have stated because there is a time required for concrete to cure that we can't change. There are standards to be followed. There are safety procedures to be followed. There are inductions to be done every morning for safety people to. And these are organizations that you can't if you are using a cutting machine, your guys are cutting anything on site, and you are not wearing a safety wear, eyewear. The, the infraction can be sent to their office in Belgium. It can be so crazy, and these are the organizations that also have these bureaucratic delays in their system that affect project delivery timelines. So gradually, maybe as organizations get better, these issues can be resolved. But for it's still an issue, and that is why we are still in the business. It's a business of rush work. I will cite this last example. There is this company. I think I'll be free to mention this company. They are called Reuters. You must have seen them. It's a media company. They are in the UK and all of that. They needed to do a project in Nigeria, and their office in Dubai. Is it their office in London? So I was just I was just on I was just in the car one day and I saw on my phone a foreign call and I picked up the call and the guy began to call. Am I speaking with you? So somebody referred us to them because they were already running late, and the implication of that particular project is that if that project wasn't completed at that time, they were going to lose some money, a lot of money, because the project is tied to not an insurance, but there's a third, there's a counterpart party involved in that project, and if they fail to deliver that project, the counterpart party will take a particular chunk of money from them. So they called us, and the guy was blah blah blah. So immediately I responded. I said, "Yeah, we try as much as possible to get it done, but you are going to pay a a percentage for rush work. Globally, there's a business of rush work. Like in Nigeria, they don't consider it, and we don't try to emphasize it. But in other spheres, when a project is meant to be done for 1 year, and you are requesting that for 2 years, and you are requesting that project to be done for 18 months, there is a fee they pay for rush work. So I told the person that, oh, yeah, this is the cost. So we're going to send you the cost of this project, send you a BOQ and all of that. And we're going to charge you extra for rush work. And the person said, no problem, no problem. No, 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 no. So instead of going to sending an award letter, I said, now you need to do something for us to start after the initial, the 1 week, blah, blah, back and forth on what we needed to do and all of that. I said, instead of waiting for the admin, I don't know the department that works on that sends out award letter, instead of waiting for that, I said, do us an email and copy so people in your organization that we can proceed to start this work. And one of the other reasons we do that is also to lock in the project to us. So we do that oftentimes when people rush and come to us. We also rush, accept those projects in such a way that we are also protected. We are not overly exposed. Thank you. So this, I will bring an end to this. Let me check my slide to be sure. I believe that I hope that I have tried to do justice to this presentation. How time is of essence, and the the delays all over when clients in the delays that come from decision making from clients. Thank you very much, everyone. If you have other questions, you can still post it. I'll try as much as respond if time permits.
Hello. Thank you very much, Jide. I think I've learned a new term today, the business of rush work. Well, maybe in the time you put it, but I think it's interesting to see you share about the business, you know, of rush work. I think it's quite an interesting terminology, even though we see it from another perspective, from the quality assurance aspect. But I think I'm quite enthused and excited about a few things you shared. And I recall you shared about the issue of bureaucracy, and I think you just it is spot on. I think organizations, while trying to protect ourselves in terms of some internal procedures, SOP, and all that, inflict another disease on the project, which is delays, by reason of bureaucracy. And this bureaucracy, I think, can happen both on the side of the client and the contractor. And I think for the contractors, and I know you are speaking from that point of view as an architect with into construction, having to minimize, reduce that bureaucracy. It's interesting that even the very big organizations fall victim of this. When the structure is very big, it's large, and you want to control procurement, you want to control, the costing department, you want to control design office, you want to manage. And so I think at times, unknowingly, organizations micromanage. And while micromanaging, they inflict upon themselves this kind of a disease. And I think the issue you also raised on the issue of decision making, I think that was just spot on. Decision making is critical to project delivery, and in fact, it's a major factor that influences speed in the project. Decision making. Interestingly, you can have the CEO of a company unavailable to make critical decisions that can progress work and can delay it maybe the next 2 days, the next 1 hour, the next 3 hours, the next 1 week. And so I think this is a very interesting topic, and I'm really glad at the way you were able to. I mean it's key. Now we can see part of why Sapphire is succeeding. That speed has been, a critical asset for you. I want to say thank you very much, Architect Jide, for your time, and to our audience, thank you for listening. JD has been able to do justice to the topic, spirit and asset. And really, I mean, thank you very much. You've shared the journey in a very short manner, and then describing how you've been able to navigate, even getting jobs when clients just select you. Not necessarily. See, it's not as if the client in those cases are actually boycotting the tendering process. Is that they've seen quality, they've seen that the pricing from this company is interesting. That even some of those jobs, they've done some internal bidding that you may not even be aware of. But they believe, oh, among all of these factors, this company that can guarantee speed, because Bill Gates a while ago said that it causes business at the speed of thought. There's a time come that that time is just critical. Organizations needs their project delivered ASAP, just like yesterday. I'm sure you recall the COVID saga of how China were building hospitals overnight. In such cases, they look for vendors who can deliver to time. I want to say thank you very much. And speed is truly an asset. It helps all parties, the project manager, the clients. It helps the contractor. Of course, for contractor, you're able to make more money in good time, in short time. I know that for the contractor, you can make good profit in short time. But ultimately, speed is an asset for those of us who are in this industry. I want to say thank you very much to our audience. Thank you so much, Ademola. We're really glad that you came today. I want to say thank you very much. And to our audience, our next episode will be episode 9. That'll be coming up in the next couple of weeks. Can we have the slide on? So we'll be having Ademola Dodola. We'll be speaking on teamwork makes the dream work. Ademola Dodola is a partner at GHK. He's a personal friend of about 20 years. He's got a lot of experience to share. I'm sure when we hear him, we will see how teamwork really makes the dream work. That'll be 24th of March by 7 p.m. about this same time. We'll be glad to hear him speak to us at length, share his experience, his insight on this platform. I believe at Just Design is that there is so much knowledge aggregated in the brains, in the mind, in the career of several professionals. And the younger generation are unable to tap into this knowledge. So we believe this platform is a platform to aggregate that dimension of knowledge in one place. And we're able to improve the work we do in the design industry, construction, engineering. And so we believe we want to aggregate that dimension of knowledge from diverse parties, diverse sectors, and put together on one platform and improve next generation of designers and have a better design world, have a better design output. And that's what we do at Just Design. I want to say thank you very much, Olajide, for your time once again. And to our audience, thank you. And we see you at the next edition. Sakuya, thank you very much for your contribution, for your questions. Thank you very much. Thank you all, and see you next month.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.